Hey everyone, I think I'm live. My name is Susan Farmer. I was planning on getting on and doing a quick just video about Uranus and kind of explaining it because, Uranus is at play today. And then I started looking at this week and just thought, wow, I'm going to jump on. I haven't done this in a while. So I thought I'm just going to jump on and talk about a lot of the energies and maybe get like really distinct about a few and defining them so that it's more easily understood as to what's happening in the sky. Before I do that, I'm teaching a sun, moon, and rising class tomorrow or today. Today's the last day to register for it for a discount. So go on to my website, www.astrologyandsoul.com. If you want to register for that, the early bird pricing and signing up with a friend deal is over today, and then it starts next week. It's on Wednesday nights. Anyway, is anyone feeling this? Like I have been out of sorts yesterday and today, and I call myself an astrologer, yet I wasn't really up to date as to everything that's going on and the energy peaks. So I'm going to keep this personal. I know there's stuff going on globally. I know there's stuff going on in my country, in the United States today. And I'm just going to steer clear of all that. If you want to learn more about that, though, Astrology by Rob Barnes and I did a pretty thorough talk about it on Astrology Club of Utah. So go to that page in Facebook, just search Astrology Club of Utah and go. There should be a video. And we went over a bunch of the aspects and how it was going to affect the United States of America's chart and maybe some of the things that would happen here. We did that last Friday. So you can jump on there and look at that. I'm just going to keep this more personal. So I thought what I would do is kind of define more my feelings on different planets and the planets that are at play this week, and then go from there. So if you have any questions or comments, just throw them out on the chat. I'll tell you what, this energy is getting me, and I've had a few phone calls too saying like so and so, my wife woke up really depressed and heavy. I mean, my heart's been like beating really hard nonstop. I was trying to figure some stuff out, and I think it's all the energies coming together, because that's what astrology is, right? It's just energy. Physics has proven energy and that planets emit energy. And so when they come together in what's called an aspect in astrology, it's just two planets' energy coming together in a certain way. And it either works well or it's a little frictious. And so that's what we will get into. I'm going to define some of the energies at play. So I'm going to talk about the sun today. And the sun is a lot who we are. We all know that we have a sun sign based on where we're born in the zodiac. We're a Pisces or a Cancer or an Aquarius or whatever. But the sun and all the planets continue to move in the sky even after we're born, go figure. And they start affecting things. So where the sun is, which zodiac sign it's in, will speak to the feelings that we're having on an identity level. Maybe some of the issues coming up for us and how we want to be in our lives at just that base level of who we are and how we're growing and what we're going into. In my soul destiny session, and also what the class is going to be on with the sun, moon, and rising class, it's the goal. It's the goal we're trying to aspire to. It's what we came in wanting to do. So during the month where the sun is in every different zodiac sign, it takes about a month to go through. Those issues are coming up for us on an energetic level, along with our own birth chart, right? We can't forget that, and we always have to mesh that. Then we have the moon, and the moon is more our emotions, how we are dealing with things. It's also what we came in. So your moon sign is going to be what you came in really knowing how to do and what helps you feel comforted and nurtured. And so if we're emotionally off or something's, hitting us in an uncomfortable way, it starts, mixing with our emotions, and we can act different. So it's like that emotional being, how we're feeling protected as a person. Are we feeling safe? Are we feeling secure? Are we feeling nurtured? And the transiting, so when I talk about planets and I say transiting, that's where they're moving today in the sky. So the transiting moon will speak to those feelings for us. Then we have Mars at play too. And I'm going to say, okay, guys, this is all happening in 1 week. That's what tripped me out. That's why I decided to get on and do this. Instead of just talking about Uranus only, I was like, from Sunday the 17th to Saturday the 23rd, we are being hit. Absolutely being hit with lots of frictious energies. So we have Mars, and I did a video on the 5th, I believe, of January. So if you want to know more about Mars or learn more about Mars, go back to that video. I took us through processes, but basically it's about figuring out what we want to fight for. Mars is the god of war, right? It's about fighting, and everything has a lower and higher vibration. That's not, neither of those are neither good nor bad. They just are. And it's where we are in growing with the energy. So Mars is going to teach us, if we tap into it, what we want to fight for. What will jump on that white horse and grab our banner or flag and take off to fight on the front line without any question, because we know we're going to get to our goal, the sun, and we emotionally are invested, the moon. And I've skipped Mercury and Venus. They're at play. Venus is in Capricorn doing stuff, and Mercury is also in Aquarius, and it's in retrograde. Shadow, about to hit retrograde. So I'm not really going to talk about those because they're not main players this week, but obviously their energy is there. So then we have Jupiter. Jupiter's at play this week too, which is crazy that all of this is just so intense. Jupiter's about confidence, esteem, potential. It's about what seeds you're planting and how you're planting them and what you decide you want to water and grow. It can be about intuition and faith and vision, like seeing the vision and what can come if you nurture and take care of those goals and desires that you've decided to go for. It can also be overconfidence. It expands, right? So it can blow things up. So you can see where this week is probably, some of that's already going on. Saturn is at play as well. And Saturn is about what you're going to work for. What you've decided you can, after you have that vision from Jupiter and you know the dream and what you're trying to go for to get to that goal, you have Saturn there saying, now you got to do the work. And if you do the work, you'll be blessed. But it takes time. Saturn's a lot about time and patience and getting through restrictions and obstacles, because that's life. We understand, like, we have that in life. There are always obstacles. Whenever we decide to start a new thing or go down a new path, there are issues that come up that we never even realized would come up. And Saturn shows us a lot of those, and can be really frustrating sometimes, honestly. But the promise with Saturn is if you work for it, if you continue to climb the mountain that you choose to climb, you will get, rewards at the end. So it's about putting in the time. And then Uranus is way at play right now. And that's the one I can feel. That's the one that's like making my heart beat super fast, is about this new knowledge that he's trying to bring to you. Like, you've gotten comfortable maybe in a place that is no longer working for you, and he's going to zap you with information out of the blue. So I was trying to work with Uranus last night and kind of, go into it, because I always have these processes. And what's real about Uranus is you can set up the wiring, you can be open to the spiritual direction, because Uranus is, to me, very spiritual. It brings this insight or knowledge to you on a mind level of understanding something that you hadn't quite seen before, and you can't go back from understanding it. But it feels jolting, like it's a jolt. So here I knew Uranus was in play last night, and I was like, okay, let me get my process. Let me just get through this Uranus, issue. And what I found was, like, you can set it up. You can be ready for that spiritual take and that message that you can then take on to more growth and mysticism. But that knowledge that hits you is the Uranus. And what he's trying to do is authenticate you, get you more into who you want to be. Through life, we're growing, we're changing, we're coming against new trials and obstacles, and that's just what it is. And if we start getting stagnant, Uranus zaps us. It can be good or bad surprises. It's neutral. It's neither one or the other. It's just surprises. And as I was trying to get my system, like, okay, I'm going to beat this Uranus so I can, it's like, you just got to get it online and ready. Uranus hits you when it hits you, but it is revolting sometimes. Not revolting to yourself. It gives you a revolutionary energy to where you want to change and become more authentic and, change status quo. It's kind of like, where are you comfortable? Can you be comfortable in not being comfortable? It's taking those steps, and he shows you where to go and do it. So we have all those planets. Can you believe that? It took me 12 minutes just to talk about all those planets at play. They are in 2 different signs only. So we have, as of the 19th, the sun went into Aquarius. So we have the sun and Jupiter and Saturn all in Aquarius. And we have the moon, Mars, and Uranus all in Taurus. So to me, what Aquarius is, it's that new vision of, we're going to rebel against a system and revolutionize it. Something has outgrown its progress in society, and we're doing it for everyone, for the community. It's like an updating of systems. You cannot revolutionize something until you see what you've been doing, that status quo, that is no longer working. So Aquarius is about that. It's about experimenting, going into the lab, letting it blow up on you, failing in the lab, getting okay with understanding, okay, I just tried this experiment and it didn't work, so now I'm going to go this way. So it's really rethinking, but on that bigger level of, like, I can see a different vision that could be. I need to experiment to bring it to Earth. Like, how do I do that? And what can I bring to society and everyone else to help with that change? So that's what Aquarius is about. And Taurus, to me, is about self-esteem and self-worth. And what you're doing, it has a lot to do with, like, body, like how you're feeling in your body, how you're feeling grounded on Earth, what you're doing, like, realistically, that you no longer want to be doing anymore. What's your worth? What are you, I always say, what are you selling that you no longer want to sell anymore? Like, we all have to sell, right? We're all giving, we're all trying to build, we're all trying to support ourselves, our family, and so we have to give in different ways. There comes a point where we're no longer willing to do certain things because now it's eating at our self-esteem. And Taurus helps us get there, but it's really slow. Taurus is a really slow energy, and it's all about the timing. So here we are with all these other really potent aspects and energies coming, and I feel like it's really hitting our Taurean places. Like what we have just become comfortable with and want to stay with and don't want to change at all is all becoming changeable. We're seeing new ways to do it, or we're being pushed into new ways, the Aquarius ways to do it. And that's what's really coming online this year and next year, are these new ways of doing things and the old ways. So the old ways and being stuck in them, and there's new systems to put into play, and experimenting and bringing them online in different ways through all these different energies. So I feel like I'm just giving like a book, like I'm just giving a lot of like little details. The good stuff is coming now. So on Monday, what we had, or Sunday, pardon me, is we had Jupiter in Aquarius. So how you mesh those together. Everyone always says, like, I don't get astrology because there's so many levels and you have to mesh them. So you take everything I said about Jupiter. There's potential, there's truth, there's intuition, we're planting seeds in Aquarius, which is those new ways of doing things. We can see a potential that maybe we couldn't see before. Systems will change. There's going to be revolt. There's going to be revolution in systems and ways we do things. Systems is more a Virgo thing, but Aquarius has it as well, as far as like looking at ourselves and community. Aquarius is a lot about community and how we're going to help everyone else with it. So like Aquarius is a whistleblower too. So what's maybe getting bigger? Jupiter. And that's being the whistles being blown. Like what truths are coming out that we didn't even know, that we're going to feel a rebellion inside and want to go out and try to work on or experiment with. And I mean, we see that in so many different places right now. So yesterday, the sun went into Aquarius. So now we have our goal. We have Jupiter squaring that Uranus in Taurus. So it's like disrupting status quo, what our comforts are, making it bigger. And now the sun's moving into Aquarius saying, here's the goal. We've got to revamp things. We've got to come up with a new way. We're going to rebel, revolt. And like I said, I'm keeping this more on a personal level. So as you think about it, just think about you and where you're feeling that in your life. Like, what are you no longer willing to do? And where are you rebelling within yourself? And a lot of times when you do that, like you put your foot in your mouth, you say things in groups you wouldn't normally say, or, that has to do with Mercury as well, like speaking. But it's this energy, it's this underlying buzz, this Uranus that like makes you uncomfortable. And sometimes it's just blah, like right there. So sometimes you're the surprise for everything when you say something you want to say, or whistle blow a system, or you're looking at something and saying this isn't working, so you're rebelling. Sometimes you are that energy. So we have that going on. And then today we had the moon. We had emotions going into Taurus, into where, we have our comforts. We have our five senses. We like our nice stuff. It's where we don't want to change. And the moon's coming in and emotionally saying, crap, like now I'm moving into this hot spot in the zodiac where lots of stuff is coming coming to play, and it's becoming emotional for us. Some of these other things aren't as emotional, and at the same time, we have Mars conjuncting Uranus. So Mars, the god of war, is coming together with Uranus. Revolt, revolution, new information coming online, surprises, shocks, and saying what's not working anymore. Where do we have to change? Where do we have to be? Where do we have to authenticate ourselves to be who we are? And like I said, we have all these emotions with it now. The moon's there. The moon is now exasperated. Okay, I was trying to say this word at Astrology Club. It is focusing on a lot of these energies. So a square is a conversation of tension, and I just call them conversations because that's what I was taught when I was learning astrology. When two energies come together and it's frictious, so it's bugging you. It's a tension inside. It just bugs and bugs and nags and nags. And it's two different sides of you saying, I want you to go here and I want you to go here. And you have to come up with a resolution. And therefore, it just sticks in it's like nagging. It's like that nag in your head that you have to do something. And if you don't, then it bugs you. So we have lots of those going on. And then we have the conjunctions where it's just two energies coming together. So it takes those two energies and makes it bigger because they're together now. So on Wednesday and Thursday, so today and tomorrow, that moon is doing a lot of connection with the planets I already talked about. So now our emotions are truly becoming involved with this whatever surprise, shock, authenticating ourselves, the revolt, the rebellion inside, the war or fight that we want to fight, and the place that we're trying to take it, because it's Jupiter, right? So it's making it bigger, and Saturn. So what I'm seeing right now is the energy coming in and saying, all right, in the past few weeks, you've probably figured out where you want to go or what mountains you want to climb or how you're going to do it. And you felt good and maybe a little more at peace, and you felt like you got intuition. Now I'm going to give you a zap of a little more information. And you may have gotten stuck on, it's almost an obsessive thing. You may have gotten stuck or kept working, like, I gotta get up, I gotta keep going, and maybe it's like, just chill out a little bit. That's what I feel like is coming in. It's that zap of, you know what, it's gonna be okay, you're gonna be taken care of. Have faith. I have felt it's more like a spiritual understanding or knowing. If you're really getting like deep and in tune with yourself. It could also be like taking action on stuff. People could decide that they're just going to take action and fight what they feel is the good fight. Like, we can't define for somebody what they want to do, or the fight that they want, the rebellion that they want to do. And really, it's like getting clear inside of ourselves before we do that. So Saturday, we also have stuff going on. The sun is with Saturn in the sky, so that means who we are. Our identity is like feeling hard and restrictive, and we're trying to push through a lot of these obstacles that are going to be created today, like yesterday and today, maybe tomorrow. And then we also have Mars again squaring Jupiter, so that's another conflict. That's another like, okay, are we fighting for fighting's sake and making it bigger than it needs to be? Or are we really seeing this vision of what's new and what could come and going for that? It's a pretty potent week. I was trying to not talk too long because these lives are, sometimes get boring if you keep talking too much. But this week, there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of tension. The aspects, so like I said, the conversations that are happening, they're squares or conjunctions with two energies that just can overinflate things. So I know, like, usually I give you guys steps of what to do, or like take this process and do this, but I think what I want you to do this week is just watch what happens, see what shocks you, see where maybe you're stagnant in your life and it's time to push and move and grow. Then on the other side of that, there's also places where it's time to have faith and understand you don't know everything, and that information and knowledge will come in time. It just reminds me of last night, trying to push and push and push, trying to get my own Uranus, because I can feel the energies so much that I was like, oh my gosh, I just need to go into this so I can feel the energy and be done with it. But it was like this patience of understanding it's going to come when it comes, and you don't get the information until you get it. So getting okay with maybe feeling some angst and not knowing exactly what's going to happen. I feel like on a global level, we're really there, and people are deciding, where they're going to go, which side they're going to be or do. It's getting to a point where we're all feeling pushed to make kind of some decisions as far as that goes, and there's just more information to come. So as if you're taking actions or thinking, I would just make sure, like, always ask yourself, am I fighting the good fight? Do I really believe in this? I feel like the Uranus in Taurus is like, Taurus is self-esteem and self-value. And I feel like Uranus is giving us some soul esteem there, some zaps of what's going on a soul level and where we can change and grow. But if I could give any advice this week with the energies, it would be to try to not react. Don't react just for reaction's sake. Stand back and ask, am I acting or am I reacting? And if you want to take some actions, great, do it. But if you're just reacting, maybe take some time to sit and think about it. Our emotions are going to be at play. Who we are is going to be at play. How and what we want to fight for is at play. Our belief systems, our integrity, our morals, those are all Jupiter things as well. And that bigger vision of where we want to go, that's all at play. And then how we do it, the work that we do and how we move forward. So the Saturn, and then that insight, that instant insight, that shock of, it's like sitting in a room with a buzz and you can hear the Uranus. So you can hear that the electricity is about to turn on, and then it like flashes, zap. So you get a zap to your system, and it's like you kind of saw what was around, but you're not for sure. We're going to have some shocks like that. So, my advice would be sit back, watch, and decide what you really want to fight for if you decide to personally do something, and also decide for yourself, like, where you're stagnant. I think that's a big week, like where you're stagnant and where you want to push forward now. And maybe make some changes and growth while you're trusting the flow of life and that it comes when it comes. So much, like, it's so hard to even put it into words, especially, alone. I wish I had Rob here It's like, I didn't even realize I was going to do this, or I would have said, hey, Rob, come do this with me, to really talk these things through so that you could understand it. Anyway, I hope you have a good week. Good luck. If you have like situations, please post them in the comments because it would be really interesting. I am like waiting to see what my shocks are. So it'll be cool. Love you guys all. Go and sign up for that class. Have a good week. Bye.